break that one and start it all over again because I didn't like my volume. Hang on. Everybody. WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and WNST.net. We're live at Greenmount Station in Hampstead, Carroll County. Give it up for our offensive linemen starters, Austin Howard, Ryan Jensen joining us here, and, of course, Luke Jones is somewhere over in the corner as well.
Hello over there.
Hello. So what's going on? We got a football game this week.
We do. First home game. Got to be exciting. Austin Howard, your first game as a Raven at M&T Bank Stadium.
It will be. I played here as a Jet, but never as a Raven.
You did. So excited. I mean, that's the obvious question, but being in front of the home crowd, especially after you shut out a team that have given you guys some issues over the last few years, come home in front of the home crowd has to be exciting.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's always good to come play at home, play in the bank, and it's going to be rocking again on Sunday, and it's what we love to hear and love to see. So we're excited to be home.
What was your experience playing with the Jets, coming to M&T Bank Stadium, knowing what kind of defense you typically go up against Austin? Just how much of a challenge is that? And
right.
Where does it rate to some of the other venues in the NFL?
Well, for starters, it was cold. It was December. It was super freezing. But, the atmosphere is electric. It was cold. It was December. It was super freezing. But, the atmosphere is electric, and I think it's, second to none. People here really love the Ravens, and they come out and they show that support. And, I mean, it's one of the best venues. I mean, the stadium's beautiful. The grass was awesome, regardless of it being cold or not or snowing or not. But, it's going to be exciting to get there on Sunday just to be a part of that home crowd and the home team.
Now, you were interviewing me during the break here because we were talking about –
I was a little bit.
We were talking about football, and you were asking me a bunch of questions about the bone marrow registry. And you had like – I like being the interviewee instead of the interviewer.
Okay. You want to try this? You want to try it out?
You got a second career, and are you going to host a talk show maybe someday?
All
right, let's go, man. About the bone marrow registry, and you had like I like being the interviewee instead of the interviewer.
Okay. You want to try this? You want to try it out?
You got a second career, and are you going to host a talk show maybe someday? All
right,
let's go, man. Let's go.
All right, good deal. So we were talking to your beautiful wife. She was telling me about how she had her donor in Germany, correct?
Correct.
And my question to you was, why is it so hard to get a donor, and why you had to go all the way to Germany to find one?
Now, she wants to run up here and take the mic, and because she knows more about this than anybody, but I'll try to fake it until I make it.
Okay.
DNA is the answer. So, by the way, Luke got a DNA kit today in the mail. Didn't you?
Yeah, it was really random.
Really randomly weird.
I'm not even sure what it was about. I still haven't opened it. But
they have like Ancestry.com and you swap all that stuff.
My mom is using that. She loves that thing.
So for us, we didn't know anything about leukemia when she was diagnosed. I mean, literally, I when they said she needed a bone marrow transplant, I thought they were going to cut her open like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I didn't know what a bone marrow transplant was. The first thing they ask you is, do you have a sibling? Do you have a brother? Do you have a sister? Because you have a 1 in 5 chance of having a sibling that's a match. Flacco thinks that's cool because he's got 5 brothers and sisters. So he might have a match in his family. My wife had 1 sister, was not a match. So then you have to find a match. You have to find You have to find someone with your 10 DNA markers as perfect a match as you can, because basically what they're going to do is kill you, which they did to my wife 2 different times with the chemo, which brings you down to you're neutropenic. You have no immune system at all, and you're a little bit of like, she was like Bubble Girl. You know, she was in a room. Yeah. I had to elbow bump everybody, clean hands, all that kind of stuff, no sneezing, mask, the whole deal. Wow. No kissing, no rubbing, no masks, you know. There was a point where she was really in trouble where I had like a whole rubber suit on. Like, you had to put a rubber suit on to go in and out of the room. Yeah. So the DNA thing that's fascinating is that you have to have a match because they're going to reinstall your immune system. So they can't just take anybody's blood. They can't take anybody's seed. So her T cells were provided by him, which genetically would say they are related from another life. She only had 2 matches in the world.
Wow.
When she was first diagnosed. By the time she got cancer the second time, you had 8 or 9, because we had gotten that many people. Not us, but the world. The world's only been swabbing for 15, 20 years. Oh, so and they don't swab in China. They don't swab in Africa. So if you're black, if you're Chinese, if you're Asian, if you're mixed like Tiger Woods, you need, unless you have a brother or sister, you need someone with that similar same mix. So the people who die are people who are mulatto, who are of a unique background. Right. And that's how lives get saved. By the way, I learned something last night, Luke. I'm going to share this with you.
What'd you learn?
I hope it makes you cry because it kind of worked on me. So a year and a half ago, we had an event with Mike Tomlin, Brian Billick, and John Harbaugh. They came down, and we swabbed for the registry that night. On that night, Steve DeCastro's buddy, who's a local dentist, had a table for the event, and at the very last minute invited his dental assistant over and got swabbed. We swabbed like 50 or 60 people that night. Because, I mean, you have to be 18 to 54. You have to be good health. I mean, everybody that's already on can't get on again. Once you're on, you're on. So we swabbed like 50 people that night. And 6 months later, which was last night a year ago, the dentist came up. I don't want to out his name. He came up to me last night, or a year ago last night, and said, my dental assistant got called a month ago, and literally today, a year ago yesterday, and he had a picture of himself in the hospital in D.C. with the PICC lines in his arms, saving someone's life. Someone. Last night I learned that person has lived, and they now know each other.
That's awesome.
Wow.
So, like, one of our swabs literally saved a life last year. So how about that? That's breaking news. So I got that last night. So there. So I think that's pretty cool. So I haven't told that story yet. So the DNA part of it is that she had 2 in the beginning, then 9, because better chance moving forward. But we're always trying to get minorities, always trying to get people of color, always trying to get people of mixed ancestry, because that's really where it's at. But a lot of people, James Trapp, who I think is coming back this week. You know, this weekend's a big weekend. We're having a Super Bowl 35 reunion. Oh, okay. So all my boys are coming back from 01. And James Trapp was our special teams captain. So if you look at the Super Bowl coin flip, it's Shannon Sharp, Ray Lewis, and James Trapp. He was the special teams out at the 50-yard line. He had the same leukemia as my wife in 2010. Is that correct? 9 or 10? You can Google it. And his sister saved his life because he had a match.
Wow.
And he admitted that his sister and he didn't talk anymore. They weren't friends anymore. But she was the one that could save his life. And she did. And James Trapp will be here this weekend. So he's working for the NFL Players Association now in a Harry Swain kind of role. Player help, player development. Is that what it's called? Development?
Yeah, player development.
Player development. Helping players. You know, former players helping players. So that's our story, and that's what we're sticking to. How about that, Austin?
That's a great story.
Yeah, I thought you'd like that one.
Now I'm like, what do I ask next? Like that.
Well, you ask about DNA matches, and people. So many people, when my wife got sick, said, "I'll give blood. What's her blood type?" And I keep the special hat here with me. I'm gonna put it on right now.
He's putting the hat on.
See the hat?
There's the hat.
What's the hat say?
B+. Or B
positive.
positive.
Be positive. So her blood type is Be positive.
Be positive.
And that's exactly how I feel about you beating the Cleveland Browns this weekend. I'm being positive.
Absolutely.
That we could beat the Cleveland Browns this weekend.
Absolutely.
I made a pun. Did you catch that? That's pretty good.
Very good.
That was good.
Oh, I see what
Took
you
a second.
did.
Yeah, all right. So, no, but be positive was our mantra for my wife. She did not know her blood type when she checked into the hospital. She's diabetic. She pricks her fingers. She's got blood all over the place. Never knew her blood type until she had leukemia. We found that she was B positive. So people thought, well, if I had B positive blood, I could save her life. Doesn't work that way. It's DNA markers, and it's because you have to have a bone marrow transplant. It has to be – your body has to recognize the blood as your own.
Right.
And the first time she had her bone marrow transplant, it was too perfect. Her match was too perfect for her that her body never fought the new cells. She marched on and was doing great, but the cancer was still in her body, and it came back. So the hardest part is going through this thing called graft versus host disease, which she has now, which is where her body fights the donor cells. Correct? Or is that wrong? Is that backwards? Your donor cells fight your body, attack her body, which is why she struggled the last couple of years. But she's doing better now. Look at her. Other than being tired, she's beautiful. She's off all of her steroids, living sharp, so it's all good. It's all good. So we're trying to make more miracles here and do some cool things. But all good. So we're trying to make more miracles here and do some cool things. But you guys got to go win the Super Bowl. We got to talk some football.
Okay.
You guys love running the football. Like,
Oh, absolutely. No question.
Yeah, definitely.
I know Joe loves slinging it.
Is there a single O lineman who likes to pass block more than run block? I mean, have you ever encountered anyone? There are certain guys that are better pass blockers than run blockers, but have you ever encountered anyone who said that to
Well,
you?
I think what it is as offensive linemen, we take a lot of pride in making those holes for the running back. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, we take just as much pride keeping our quarterback safe. So it's kind of it's 50-50.
But when you get it, you just want to go home. I mean, like, it sucks.
Totally. But speaking of the offense, one thing we have to mention is our defense played lights out. All game. Shutout. I mean, they were awesome. They made our job a lot easier. So,
I'm liking the way this thing's put together right now. I'm especially liking that you guys barely know each other. Flacco's barely been in there. We've already won a road game in a shutout fashion on the road against a division opponent. I mean, for me, we're checking all the boxes here. We got to go to London next week, and I think that's going to be its own thing. We get back from that. We got to see Pittsburgh. We got to go out and see your old friends out there in Oakland and see Jack, and they looked great. The London trip, you've done that, right? Also?
We did. I went with Raiders 3 years ago.
Give me a little primer. Anybody in the room going to London besides us? Anybody? Okay. Don't worry. The food sucks. The girls aren't pretty. The beer's warm. You don't want to go. It's great, isn't it?
No, we had a great time, So what we did was we played the Patriots on that Sunday. And then that night, we flew from that stadium straight to London.
Did you lose in New England?
We did.
Everybody loses.
We almost won,
okay.
though, actually. It was like a really close game.
Okay.
But, yeah, so we ended up losing that game, heading straight over to London, slept throughout the night on the plane, and then literally once we landed, we went straight to work. They say, like, the whole jet lag thing, don't go to sleep, stay up, blah, blah, blah.
All the science.
All the science, I guess, guys are walking out of the bus, walking through the hotel hallways, leaning on the hall. It's like dragging to their rooms, like no one's smiling. But that's a rough, first 1 or 2 days. But after that, you get acclimated, and if you can take it all in, the experience is really once in a lifetime.
Well, we're doing it differently. I mean, we're supposed to go over on Thursday, and I think I mean, look, I know John. I mean, John's not taking you guys to the Churchill Museum and putting you up in the London Eye. I mean, you're going to go in, right, Luke? This is going to be football, hotel, football.
I mean, clearly you guys have a task at hand this week.
So,
You never.
I mean, look, I know John. I mean, John's not taking you guys to the Churchill Museum and putting you up in the London Eye. I mean, you're going to go in, right, Luke? This is going to be football, hotel, football, hotel.
Well, how
football.
much have they told you about next week? I mean, clearly you guys have a task at hand this week.
So,
You never want to overlook an opponent, but it has to be tough knowing you are going to be playing in London next week.
I mean, we just got to focus on tomorrow. We have practice tomorrow.
Right.
I mean,
But have they told you much about the itinerary? Or
No.
Really?
No,
So they're
I'm
just
actually,
gonna.
I'm pretty sure our wives know more about the London trip than we do.
Yeah, probably.
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Well, there
Makes
is
sense.
shopping there. I mean, it's nice over there.
It is very nice. But no, I think I guess personally, all I know is we're leaving next Thursday. But like I said, we're really geared on this week and practice tomorrow and getting geared up for the Sunday.
But the after effects are real, right? I mean, especially for you going back to Oakland. I mean, you put 6 more hours on the plane getting back. I mean, the following week there's a little recovery thing that has to go on, right?
But a lot of it's mental. You can make it an issue, or you can just do what you're supposed to and go to work and just keep it rolling. I mean, I honestly feel like a lot of it is mental.
Well, get some rest. That's all I can say, man. We got
Ryan, have you been
a
to
lot of
London
football.
before?
I have not been to London.
I have not either.
So
I'm looking forward
Hey,
to
my
it.
wife wanted to know, have you ever been out of the country? Is this your first,
My first time leaving the country.
Luke Jones going international
Hey.
to the UK. All
It's a little
right.
scary.
UK. They drive on the wrong side of the road there.
I've heard that.
No,
That's
so,
weird.
so
I've
I'm
heard
going to give a
that.
London primer. I'm going to do some of this next week. The weirdest thing about being in London is when you go to cross the street, because as an American, what's it? Look left, right, and left again. There, it's right, left, and right again.